Greetings. This is One by One. I am Mike Klein, and I am here to talk to you about some shit. Okay? Just kidding. I have a cool podcast. I stopped over my friend Bob Bowling. Audio recording. House. Totally messed that one up. My friend Bob Bowling, he's got a studio in Atco. It's called Bob Bowling Audio Recording. Give it a call. Holler at your Bob Bowling. And yeah, we sat and talked. I wanted to introduce everybody to him, and he's going to be the man helping me get this show on the road. He has been one of the men helping me get this show on the road. And it was a fun podcast. I sat down and fucking pressed record, and the laptop was behind us as we're kind of like on the side of us as we're talking to each other. And after like 2 minutes, Bob looks over and is like, "There's only one track recording, man." So that pretty much confirmed that I need this motherfucker's help, if you know what I'm saying. No, I don't know. GarageBand. Yeah. So we sat, we talked after that again for, it seemed like a half an hour, but I don't know. It might have been like 7 minutes, 8 minutes long. But either way, it was a good conversation, and we got into what Bob's about, why he does what he's doing, how long he's been doing it, and, you know, how many bands, not how many, but the bands that he's worked with and is going to be working with, and the bands that we're going to have on the podcast. So we're just shooting shit at each other, you know, giving each other ideas for what we want to do with it, because we want this to be different, and we want it to get the fuck out there, you know, and we have all the people that we need to make it happen, which is you. People that actually care about music and talking about shit, you know. I love music, and that's why I wanted to start this. That's why I've been playing music my whole life and been down with that shit my whole life. It really speaks to the heart, and, you know, sometimes the band thing doesn't work out. You got to do something else. Sometimes you got to work on shit while you're doing shit. Sometimes you just got to do it all at once. Hey, I'm just trying to do the shit that I love and have a passion for. And this is it, man. I haven't found anything better yet, and I've only sat here and talked to you guys once. That says a lot to me. A whole hell of a lot to me. So, on with the show. Here's the awesome and talented and informative and long-bearded Bob Bowling. So, back for round 2, but you ain't gonna hear round 1, so you're beat. Bob Bowling, what's up, dude?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, and now we got both of these same tracks going here. I like to see 2 Red Johns instead of 1.
Yeah. Always a little technical difficulties the first couple.
Yeah. And it was funny, too, man. I'd like at Frank's, I just came from there, and it just worked fine. And I never did it with 2 people. And then I come here.
That's cool. I did all kinds of silly things when I first started recording here, especially when I went to, you know, digital in the box, they say.
It's almost scary, man. Like, just to be looking at this thing and just praying that it doesn't stop. Because it sucks having to redo it. Like, the first episode that I did, I recorded that, like, the one that I sent you, I did, like, 4 times. And then the other one after that, like, 5 times. I was getting sick and tired of, like, saying stuff. And then I would get into certain shit, and I would go deeper into, like, political stuff. I'm like, wait, I'm going...
Off on a tangent.
Yeah. Tangent. Rants. That's what they call them. So, you got Bob Bowling audio recording.
Yes, sir.
awesome studio down here.
Thank you.
And you had some cool bands in here.
Really cool bands.
Want to have Heroes and Error on here. They're friggin' cool as shit.
They're a great band.
And even like, what was this young band that you had on?
I call it Outbreak.
Yeah.
They're all 14 years old in junior high school. And we're in the middle of doing a 3-song EP right now, and they're really good. I mean, they're 14 years old, so taking that into consideration, they're just as prepared as almost any band that has come in here.
Yeah,
and they just need to, develop.
They seem like they busted it out quick, right?
Yeah, one day. Yeah.
1 day, 3 songs.
And it's everyone has different procedures and different goals in the studio of how high the how far they're going to go with the layers and overdubs and making things perfect. So, no one can come in here in one day and do what they did if they're going to look for that and have 6 backup vocal parts.
Yeah, like she was really good.
Yeah.
Like her vocals.
Yeah, they have 2 vocals. They have the lead vocal and 1 harmony, and that was it.
But she did both of them.
She did them both, and she did. Basically the vocals were done in 1 pass, and then the harmonies were done in maybe 2 passes.
She sounds good, man. She
Yeah,
it reminds me of
yeah, they were prepared. They knew what they wanted to do, and they came in and knocked it out. I've had a lot of bands do that. Offshot was another one.
Mm-hmm.
They came in and did a 5-song EP in 1 day, recorded in 1 day, mixed it in a half a day, in and out.
Yeah.
And I have bands that come in here for months, and that's not a knock to them. They're looking for something different, production, more production, and they want to sit back and listen to each layer as they add it, and that's cool too. There's listen to the radio. There's room for everybody of every approach, every type of production. There's someone who wants to hear it, so it's cool.
Oh yeah. And how long have you had this studio? I know I met you at open mics at Devlin's like 5 or 6 years ago, but
officially 2010 is when I started.
So it's pretty much around the same time.
Yeah. As that open mic kind of fizzled out, that's kind of where I realized that there are so many musicians around here that want to or need to record entry-level bands, and not because of their skill. When I say entry-level, I mean their budget, or the fact that they have houses or families and they just can't afford, to go into the city, go into Philly and pay $100 an hour for some studio.
I know if they're going to be going out and playing gigs, they need to be getting paid, and they need to get something for it.
So I realized how many
hard.
Great musicians that were around here, and there was no way to be heard unless you went to see them at open mic or at their gig. So I made a really, I made it possible for smaller level bands to come in and record, and they helped me grow and I helped them grow, and it's been a good 2-way relationship with a lot of these bands.
Oh yeah, you helped me a lot with the recording, man.
Yeah, well,
a lot.
You've helped me a lot with the live sound, so I appreciate it. And you and Michael Messina were, I know when I first started doing this, I did a couple songs for you guys at no charge because I was learning my way. I've been doing this. I had a Tascam Porta Studio when I was 16 years old with me and my drummer buddy. We would sit there with a cassette tape, record 2 tracks on side A, flip it over, record the next 2 tracks. Well, actually, one more track, then you'd bounce. But it was a great learning process. So I've been doing this. In the 90s, I got a Fostex digital 8-track, and you could do 6 tracks and then bounce to track 7 and 8 and keep it stereo.
And then have 6 more.
Well, 4 more because then you had to bounce them. You kept losing.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to commit, you could record on all 6 and bounce again. But
go Beatles and get 2 of them and just
go
back and forth.
That's the thing. I mean, back in the day, they made complete albums on 4 tracks, so we all have no excuse now.
Exactly.
But anyway, so I did it that way for a long time as a hobby and for fun, and
you were in bands too back in the day.
Yeah, I was in bands and wrote songs and recorded, and I've been in other studios when I was in bands. We a lot of local studios around here. I've done some small productions in, and I just decided I was at a point in my life. I made a career change, and I said, okay, this is like my chance. I was going to turn 40 years old, and I said, this is my chance to get into music as a career and
do something.
So I upgraded to went digital, and I upgraded my computer and got the necessary converters and some new preamps and stuff, and
Got a lot of nice stuff down here.
and that's where you guys came in. You came in and let me, and were my guinea pigs. And we did some demos, and some of them were terrible from my end. You know, I know I screwed some stuff up. You know, in the early days.
Dude,
but
everything
I
sounded
got it down
awesome
now. So
when we came down here, man. Seriously.
yeah.
And right now I have a song where we're doing. I'm waiting for Ed to come over and do some drums on them. Ed
Yep.
Morrow.
Ed Morrow, we need you in here.
Yes. And that should be cool.
It's
Mike
gonna
wants
be
to come
cool,
back
yeah.
and fix a couple vocal things. He said I just talked to him. I went to it was weird. I went to Primus. Actually, here's a story. I went to Rise Against Killswitch Engage concert last week.
Right, and you
And
want
that-
some free tickets, right?
Well, Scott was walking out. He left early because Rise Against was on. He wasn't really digging them too much. And he was singing his acoustic songs. Scott was like, fuck this shit, let's go. But he's walking out, and the one of the dudes that's standing there, one of the guys in the yellow shirts that works there, just like, here, some Primus tickets, 4 tickets for nothing. So we all went, and that was awesome. I never realized how like crazy good they all are,
yeah.
man. That's nuts. But then, what was I saying?
About the quality of the music 5 years ago, or about your old demos, redoing them. I don't know I don't know how that happened.
I forget where we're going with that.
I don't know.
But anyway, it fucking sucks there now. I got it.
What venue was it?
The Festival Pier.
Oh,
I haven't been there in a year, right? And last year was fine. Went to the show. You know, everybody's chilling. Mosh pit. Normal fucking show. Little more abnormal because like pot's decriminalized there now, so it's like a fucking, you know, bake session. But now they have people walking through selling beer and water right through the mosh pit. I swear to God.
because it's so chilled out.
No, it's not. Well, whatever. It's chilled out, but it sucks.
It wasn't too violent to
There's
stop
beer
them
and
from
water
walking
50
through.
feet away.
Right,
Don't walk through and like make me like get hit in the head by your
Right.
bucket on your head.
right.
This is crazy. So what was like one of your first bands that you were ever in? Like the name of it?
Oh, the first band that I was in. Well,
Mm-hmm. Back in what year was
my
that?
first band. Well, I had a band in 7th grade with my neighbor who played drums. We just sat in his garage and sucked hard. And
That's considered a first band.
but
Mine was called Bliss.
yeah, that was called Maybe Times. I was just telling my daughter about that.
Maybe
she said,
Times?
"What does that even mean?" I said, "I can't even remember." But we even got a marker and stenciled it on his bass drum head. Maybe Times.
Yeah.
And then, but that was a good setup. I learned how to, set my amp and how to play with a drummer.
Yeah, that's
And then
hard
in, like,
sometimes.
9th or 10th grade, I got in a band called White Lightning, and we did like old Judas Priest and Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden covers.
Uh-oh.
And we got to play at the local dance. It was cool. You got to go. We're rocking out playing Kiss songs and Living After Midnight and stuff like that at the Loudon Fire Hall right on Jackson Road in Atco.
Mm-hmm.
And then that prepared us for the most popular band I was ever in was called Zeus, and that was from my late teens to my early 20s. And we were like I don't want to say hair metal, but that was the time period.
Yeah.
So we weren't.
You're kind of grouped into that.
We were grouped into that. Yeah. I'm sure you could
kind of
find
like how Billy Corgan says he was grouped into grunge. Just 'cause it
Sure.
was that era.
I mean, you could find some pictures of us where you could argue that we were hair metal.
Yeah.
Got some tight ass pants.
I've seen a couple.
We had some tight ass pants on, and
He said it's a long ass
we
hair.
had
I
long hair
never had
and
long
probably
hair like
some hairspray or other mousse or something going on. We all rated our sisters'
that. Hairspray.
hair whatever you call that stuff, hair product drawer. But and then I took a chill for a long time, 10 years without playing in a band at all.
Wow.
And then I got into a kind of a rock band with Tony Schott.
Yes.
And we
It's
did
Code
that
4.
for about probably 5 to 8 years. We did that, and that was actually really fun too. Totally something new for me,
Mhm.
playing different types of playing guitar in a different way.
Yeah. Tony's good, man.
Tony's a great player.
He's real
He's someone who's been in the studio a lot, doing solo stuff with me, helping him out, like backing him up. He brought his band in here last year and did a whole. I think it's a whole album. I think it's 10 songs on there. So,
Yeah.
That's really good. He's a great songwriter.
I want to get some stories from him because you said wasn't he in Split Decision or some band or some other cover band back in the day? Or
Tony's he was in a cover band called Jet Black and Jealous.
Oh,
and that was in the 90s. They did early 2000s, and they did kind of like the original alternative rock. Like when it was less, when it wasn't such a broad title or genre. But he was in an original band also before that called White Toga or Black Toga, something with a toga, and
probably black because they're usually white, right?
Yeah. I don't remember that band, but they used to play the same scene as my band Zeus at Bonnie's and the Galaxy.
The same time, like you guys were like kind of like seeing each other around and shit.
I didn't know him then. We were on the same scene. I just didn't know him.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy. So we met, and we're about the same age. So we met later in life and realized we had all that in common, and we'd all moved on from hard rock, hair metal, whatever you want to call it, and put together that rock band, which was really. It was cool for me because it was, like I said, I got to play guitar with different tones, different scales, and just changed
like your perspective.
My perspective on songwriting, because he's a great songwriter, and he just brought a whole new approach to songwriting, and for me, compared to bands I'd been in. Yeah, so he's good. You gotta have him on. And he can, unlike me, after the interview, he can sit there and play you a song.
You can play me a song, bastard.
He can play. He can, he can play guitar. He can play bass. He's a great bass player. He can sing.
That's where I saw him shine. Like when I first saw him with you guys at open mic, you were like usually playing guitar, and he would come up there and play bass and sing too. But yeah, he's badass at bass.
Yep. Not many guys can go up onto the stage at an open mic and play bass and sing, and that's it.
And take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the bass generally doesn't sound that full without some guitar or
you can tell
percussion.
He's been doing it a while, man.
Yeah, but he can make the bass.
He can
use it like a guitar.
My friend that I grew up with, my high school band, Sulphur, Pete Ware,
right, I know.
He's awesome at bass too, man.
He is. He's a metal guy, right?
Yeah. Well, he's everything really. But I mean, I learned a lot from that motherfucker too. I wanna get him on here and talk to that guy too.
Yeah, he's good. I remember him. So
I want to get Heroes and Error in here. I want to get Tony Shot in here because I want to do. I was saying in my first episode that I want to have. I'm mobile, so I can come meet wherever.
Right. Billy Williams too. Don't forget him.
Yes.
Super talented guy, Billy Williams.
Anybody you suggest, I'll pretty much go and do, man.
He was one of my first guys in here too. He came in. I met him at Devlin's open mic, and I was like, man, this guy's great. It's a shame that, he had an album out that was, I don't know, 8 years old. And I said, we have to do something, get some new material out. So he was one of my first guys also. We did a lot of songs probably over a couple year time period, did about 10 songs with him.
Cool. Yeah. And so with this recording stuff, like I want to have it so that a band can contact me even.
Right.
And then come in here and check out the studio, maybe do a podcast and talk to you at the same time.
Absolutely.
I think it would be cool. It'd be cool to have that kind of energy. Like even if I came down here and press record before you guys even met or something, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then
put a room mic up and just capture
the whole beat,
the interaction,
and then either during or after. Well, depending on if they're coming over here to record with you or just check it out. But, we could set up a song and just have a live session right here and then just put that right on the podcast.
Yep.
So
I did that. I think I told you before. I'll show you after we're done this. Back to Tony Shop for a quick second. Him and he and John Carpenter, they have a duo called Code 4.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a trio. They have a drummer. They go out and play in various formats, but they came in here and had a camera guy and did a live recording.
Mm-hmm.
Played like 8 songs straight through, like it's a show.
Oh wow!
And I recorded it multi-track with the studio, and this camera guy from Berlin. I know his name, but I can't think of it right this second. It'll come to me.
Maybe I could edit it back in later.
Yeah, sorry. He shot it from 3 different angles. while they played. I recorded it multi-track, and then I gave him the good bounce. I bounced the file out audio-wise, and he lined it up with the video, and it looks great, and it sounds good.
Yeah,
and it's
you
real.
got a copy of it?
Oh yeah. I'll show you when we're done.
Cool.
It's not
It's not like mastered all the way or what?
Well, it's not mastered, but it's
No, I mean like the whole thing.
it's completely mixed. It looks great. It sounds great, and it's real. There's not one edit. It's straight through. Like, if they made a mistake, early in a song, they just started over entirely. But other than that, we just recorded straight through.
Yeah.
And just used it, and that was
That's awesome.
And a lot of bands can't do that either.
Yeah.
As far as guitar solos, intros, outros.
Just pull it off right off the bat.
John Carpenter sang backups while Tony played, and I think he sang lead on one or two songs.
That's a challenge right there.
Yeah.
People can come in here and try to do a live recording and see how good you really are.
Exactly. Yeah. Put you to the test.
If you don't want to stay
backup vocals, let's face it, the backup vocals for almost everyone, they take a couple tries. Like the lead vocal will sometimes the lead vocalist does his own backup vocals in the studio setting. So, and that's sometimes it's recommended because the guitar player does them live, but they're not as good as the lead vocalist. But either way, it usually takes a couple tries to get them to match up, the timing, to get them on pitch and all that. And, someone could sit down here and sing live and do the backups live and play the guitar solo live and not punch anything. I'm always impressed.
Yeah, me too, man. It's really I mean, it's not a total drag, but it is so nice when it happens, when they come in and it's just like, bam.
Tony Romeo. That's the guy who shot the video.
Oh, okay, so, Tony Romeo. No edit in there.
Right, no edit needed.
And that's a cool thing about doing them down here. We got internet.
We have resources
and shit.
right in front of us. Tony Romeo, he works for a Philadelphia news channel, and and he has access to some great editing equipment and great cameras, and he did a great job with it. He made a website for those guys, and I think that's his goal. He's like you. He wants to promote local bands and help them do things that they just can't do on their own.
Yeah,
because
it's happening. Why not friggin' capture it? Why not get it out there?
Right. He's totally into the music.
That's
He's
awesome.
He likes to go see bands, and he appreciates the work that they put into it, and the how hard it is to play an instrument and then take that instrument and write a song, and then have 3 or 4 or 5 guys coordinate playing that song together. Yeah. It builds and builds,
man.
And some guys make it seem really easy, but it is not an easy thing. So
it's definitely a process that comes over time. I think.
So some people appreciate it, some people don't, and all you can do is just keep trying to find those people who can appreciate it.
Cool, man. I want to check out his video when we're done.
Yeah, I'll definitely show you.
I want to have people like that on too, not like totally like I know when I started this I wanted it just to be musicians, and I still want it to be mainly musicians, but I want it to be open to art in any form, really, because I love comedy too.
Right. Well, he's a photographer also.
So yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I want to have him on just being a photographer and a videographer and shit like that.
Right.
Promote that stuff, because with the social media the way it is these days, man, people are just starting to catch on, really. I think,
there's
I mean, the podcasts, they've been around for like 5-10 years now, but like people are just starting to like get somewhere where like fucking Mark Maron just had Obama on his podcast in his garage. The fuck?
Right. Here's his blog here, TonyRomeo.com. So anyone wants to check that out.
Awesome.
He has a blog, and it's a blog. It has things that he likes,
Yeah.
Photography, stories,
check it out.
Travel stories,
TonyRomeo.com. And where can we find Bob Bowling?
BobBowlingAudio.com.
Word up. And also he's on Instagram.
I had that pulled
too.
up so I could quickly and eloquently give my information out, but I closed it looking for Tony Romeo.
To look at Tony Romeo's profile, man.
Pretty much. Yeah, BobBowlingAudio.com. And also you can hear audio that I've recorded
you do live
here.
sound too.
Yeah, I do live sound. So if you go to SoundCloud.com/BonesProject, you'll find
examples galore.
Yeah, samples of country bands, rock bands, metal bands, acoustic, folk, live recordings I've done. That's my new thing. I've been doing that for a little over, I guess, a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Live sound, and it's been a great add-on for the studio.
Yes,
It keeps me busy when I otherwise wouldn't be busy. Friday and Saturday night, not a big night for recording bands, and
yeah, that's when they're like out playing and shit.
and it's a great way to meet bands because I go out and I record them live. That's an option also, and they find out what I can do for them, and it gets my name out there. So it's a good thing.
And you're an awesome dude.
Thanks.
And I tell everybody that when I work with them.
Thanks.
If I ever talk to them about the recording stuff.
And you're doing good too. I mean, people don't know this maybe, but you helped me. I couldn't even count how many gigs you've helped me with on the live side of it, and now you've been doing a couple shows here and there on your own. So that's awesome way to branch out as well.
I know, man. It's crazy. All right, well, thank you very much. This is a little short one. We'll come back and talk again for sure.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get some bands in here.
Other guests.
I have a list.
And whatnot.
I have a list. We I only plugged a couple of them, but we
yeah.
I have more bands I could even remember right now.
A plethora. I know off the top of my head, I was talking to Mike Young.
Meat Plow, yeah.
Meat Plow. They're going to come in and record their second album in here, and he wants me to do collage
graphics,
or something or some kind of design.
Meat Plow is an awesome band. I love those guys. I didn't know them when they came here the first time. They came in on a reference from somebody else, and
they reference other people too, right?
Oh yeah, they definitely led to multiple. Even if it's not directly through them, like they recommended a band or recommended me to a band who came in. They liked it, then they recommended me to a band, and that's how this has all worked for me because I really do.
That's how it's good to work like that.
My logo on my website, you'll see somewhere in the first page or two, will say "I care about your music," and that really is true. I really care about these bands and their music, and they know it as soon as they meet me. And I'm not saying I'm the best guy there ever was to work on your recording, but I care. There might be a guy who knows twice as much as me, but cares half as much as me, and I'll pick the guy who cares over the guy who,
the best I've worked for.
Yeah, I don't stop until I'm satisfied. And Meat Plow, they're funny. They called me the slave driver because I would make them do takes over and over again. I'd say, do it one more time. I know that it's there. I said, that was awesome, but I know there's something right. We're almost there.
Yeah.
And then they do it, and I say, see? And they would be so happy. But they'd come in. They say, oh, here comes the slave driver, So that was cool. I took it as a compliment because.
Yeah, you pushed them to do their best.
Yeah.
It's a.
Yeah, listen, let's face it. You're doing
a
hard rock album. The vocals have to be really cool, and the guitar parts have to be really cool. I mean, if they're not, that's like the signature of a good metal album,
And we could even get some of those other Born of Chaos
record
label bands over
yeah,
here.
They're all a little heavier, but they I'm sure they'd be willing to do it,
Yeah, they're cool dudes. So
one really heavy band I did here was Dark Water's End. You got to have them in. They're really cool, super tight, and really good. Good players and good guys.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you very much. I'll let you get back to your mixing and shit.
You got it, man. Thank you.
All right, take care.